What can you expect from this week's Tag Weekly? Well, first off, we'll answer the questions that we got from last Tag Weekly, but also you're going to see a preview of what's coming ahead in this week's content, as well as, going over the Tag Vlog goals and going off the new Tag Weekly to-do list. Let's start off with the questions from last Tag Weekly, and that's 2 questions from one person. Jimmy says, great content, bud. Keep it up. Thank you, Jimmy. I will. I have a few questions. What are your top 5 favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards? It can be from any set. Top 5 is tough because for me, I have to go back to my childhood and what made me fall in love with Yu-Gi-Oh! And so obviously the Dark Magician had a big part. The story is my aunt went to Japan, found some Yu-Gi-Oh cards, brought it back along with some Pokemon stuff and everything. And this is before Yu-Gi-Oh had actually launched here and knew I loved magic and all that stuff, like magicians and everything. So when I saw the Dark Magician, I was like, I love the color purple. Here's a spellcaster in purple. Like he's a magician, a wizard in purple. He looks so awesome. And that just took me. So right away, Dark Magician, number 1. Now, when it comes to the rest of Yu-Gi-Oh, other things had an impact on me. Magician of Black Chaos was my favorite designed Yu-Gi-Oh card for the longest time. Seeing it in the anime, I was just like, that's it. That's my favorite card. I love the suit, the design, the attitude, the staff. And again, I like wizards, magicians, spellcasters, so that thing kind of fell right there in line. Now, if I had to go with my third card, I think it's the one that had the most impact in me getting into even remote competitive. And that is kind of breaking away from the Yugi theme. And that's Chaos Emperor Dragon Envoy of the End. Why is that? Well, at a sneak peek at Invasion of Chaos, I went to when I was younger, I actually got CED. And because I got it right away, I popped into a Chaos-themed deck and I started winning. And people were like, oh yeah, these are some other good cards you compare with it. And because I was one of the few people with it at my locals, I actually started winning locals. I started looking at the competitive scene a little bit more for Yu-Gi-Oh! And that has left an impact on me. And why that level of competition in today's very intelligent level of competitiveness that is so different from the early days of Yu-Gi-Oh's competitive streak, I still have to say pulling CED got me down a path that if I didn't have it at the time, I'd still probably be a casual and not be as in love with the game as I am. Now, what's the next one? Well, I actually have to go with a card that is kinda before CED's time. And, well, I mean, even before Magician of Black Chaos's time. And that is Dark Elf. That was, Mystical Elf aside, Harpy Lady aside, Dark Elf was my waifu card. That was the card I was like, no, this is the real waifu. I love Dark Elf, not to mention it was a 2,000 beater that was so worth it. I mean, honestly, I ran Dark Elf in my Chaos deck just because I know a lot of people were playing certain things. I know some people even played Freed just to have a good 1700 light. And it was like, okay, well, here's a 2,000 beater that can beat over your normal summon. And life points at that time, I was very risky with them. Honestly, I played Solemn Judgment back then, and people thought it was a bad idea, which it kind of is at that point because life points were so back and forth, and spending that much just for negate, although it can change the game, used wrong, especially in the hands of someone younger who may not know the full, intelligent landscape of the game, changed things quite much. And the fifth one, I think I have to go with a card that, again, maybe sparked a part of my Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitiveness, and that's actually Blackwing Armor Master. Armor Master was one of those cards that I got for Blackwings. I pulled it out of a pack, and while the rest of Blackwings were common and very easy to get, Armor Master wasn't. Once I got Armor Master, I was like, oh, okay, I can actually build a Blackwing deck. I have a great Blackwing Synchro. I had a bunch of other Synchros already, and I put Blackwing together. But it was like, while I knew Blackwings were strong, back then, it wasn't until I pulled Armor Master where I felt like I got all the pieces I need. And I actually went on and went to, regionals and performed really well. Didn't get any top cuts, but I did, I believe, place well enough to get invited to something. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, those would have to be my top 5 favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I think. I may have to reorganize that, but off the top of my head, those are definitely the top 5. Next question is, what are your top 3 favorite video games of all time? And again, I think I have to go for games that impacted me. And I think the first game, it may be a little odd, is Jak and Daxter. Mainly the second one, but Jak and Daxter. And the reason I bring up Jak and Daxter is because it was the first game that I actually wanted to complete harder difficulties for. There was a race, and if you know what I'm talking about, if you play Jak and Daxter 2, you would know that in Jak 2, there is a race scenario. And that, you can place well, you can beat a specific time, but you can get better and better scores. And for some reason, I was so enamored with beating my previous score in that game. I'd never had that before in a game, beating my top score, beating my top record. In platformers and stuff, even back in like Super Nintendo or the NES days, nothing. I had no competitiveness. And that Jak and Daxter 2 like racing moment, it completely and utterly brought a competitiveness to myself in the video games that I never had. And I don't think I've ever matched that level of, I'm going to be better this time. I swear it. Like that, I've never raged broken mice or keyboards. Every keyboard I've ever owned has been just retired because it's old, out of date, or one of the buttons stopped working, or some of the lights stopped working. The only time I've actually ever rage quit through a controller for real is Jak and Daxter 2. And that's an honest fact. I've dropped controllers. I can't say it's the only controller I've ever broken, because obviously when you're a kid you could celebrate and accidentally end up throwing your controller. I've done that. But Jak and Daxter, I think, is at the top because don't know if it's the top number 1, but it is in my top 3 just because of the impact it left on me. Number 2, I think it would have to, I think I'll put Jak and Daxter at 3. But I think if I had to put number 2, I think it'd have to be a game I spent so much time in that I have zero regrets about playing. And that's technically it's old school RuneScape, but RuneScape when it first came out. I played RuneScape when it first started going, and I loved it. And I played all the way for years. Played it through middle school. I think it was middle school, high school, college, and even until like my 23rd birthday or 24th birthday. I played for a long time, I mind you. Was that when I was in elementary school? I might have been in elementary school. Maybe. I think so. I don't know about that. I'd have to actually double check. I think I was in elementary school. Oh man, has that game taken more of my life than I know? Okay, but yeah, RuneScape has to be number 2. And then number 1, I think is a game I enjoyed overall. And unfortunately for the rest of Elder Scrolls, it never caught up. The game where I was able to test limits. Me and my buddies were able to make spells so powerful they caused the Xbox fan to spin so fast that it would break and actually cause Xbox to catch on fire. The old original Xbox, mind you, Xbox Gen 1. Or completely shut down and stop working and never turn on again because it just completely broke. And having the creativity, the lore that was kind of hidden but not so hidden that you couldn't find it, it was really one of the perfect games in my mind. You were left to your own devices to explore, to really be like, I'm in another world. What do I do? This is what I do. And that was so awesome. Like for me, the whole isekai genre for anime is, I loved it. I do. I love the idea of being in another world. If I die in this world, maybe I get reincarnated in another magical world. That would be awesome to me. But the concept of here I am in another world, there's no pointer to tell me what direction to go in. There's no crest menu with a line. There's no, and the lore isn't just put out in front of me, but it's also not as hidden as in some of the what are they called? Like Dead Souls, like the Souls games or stuff like that. Or, where they're just so hidden that trying to find it is annoying. I feel like, honestly, I dislike Skyrim. I don't think Skyrim is as good. I think Oblivion was better than Skyrim, and I think Morrowind's better than Oblivion. That's my personal opinion. But when it came down to it, I think it's also because the less hand-holding, the more exploring. and the more creativeness I got without restraints or limitations that the other future games introduced, allowed me to just be myself, have fun, and do stuff and have different experiences, because you never knew what exactly was going to happen. And sometimes loot when it spawned, sometimes you'd get bugs, but they always turned out fun. Like, I remember there was a quest. You're supposed to come across a guy at the start who, like, falls, and you're supposed to catch him or stop him. See if you can use a slow spell to slow him down. Or he splats, he dies, and you can take his gear. Me and my buddies were playing, and this one was glitched for some reason, and he bounced. And came back and bounced. And he just kept bouncing. And we're like, I'm sorry, we tried to use a spell on him to stop him? Nothing. We tried to attack him? Nothing. We couldn't kill him, but we also couldn't help him or stop him. And so by the end of the game, once we tried to do everything else we could, come out in amazing gear, fully enchanted, could literally cast a spell that could shut down the game, he'd still be bouncing. And it's just like, that's stupid, but it's funny. You can never catch that lightning in a bottle again. And so I do think for me, Morrowind, much like RuneScape, I spent so much time playing it. It was a game I got to have fun and be creative with. And it's just a game that allowed me to enjoy myself and the game without anything or anyone else ruining it. So Jimmy, thank you for your questions. Hopefully I answered them. I'm still kind of stunned with how much time I put into RuneScape. Ugh. Okay, yeah, I think it was actually elementary school. My entire life. Okay, and I actually went back to play at some point too. When they introduced old school RuneScape, I went back and played it and did the Iron Man. My God, a lot of my life has been put on old school RuneScape. Uh-oh. All right, guys, let's focus on something. Oh, something else. It has to be something else. All right, so let's talk about our former tag vlog goals. So, lose weight. I am slowly working on it, but losing weight, not working out as much, and then starting to work out, I've been extremely tired, extremely sore, and honestly, I forgot to upload videos. I went to go work out, do some stuff, and I worked out so much, I kind of was like, whoa, got lightheaded, and went to lay down, fell asleep, and then that's why there was no video. I completely forgot, and so I'm kind of behind, so I'm trying to balance my trying to lose weight with not burning myself, and fortunately I came across that point where I worked out a little too hard, didn't drink enough water, probably a little bit of dehydration, and yeah. Find a job. I have a couple of interviews I've had, so nobody handed me that paycheck yet, but when I do, it's going to be awesome. Getting a video sponsor, again, I want to note this video sponsor has to be from an actual company or an exterior force, not a viewer, and not from my joking, PayPal, Discord, blah, blah, whatever page. I can't just cheese it. This is from Smog UK. Go to a Yu-Gi-Oh! Digimon event. Once I have a job, I plan to. Urza, collab with a YouTuber with 5K plus subs on both channels. I plan to reach out to some once I hit 500 subs. Speaking of get to 500 subs, also Urza, we're at 298. We jumped back up. We went from 297 down to 295, then up back to 298. But I also know some of YouTube's analytics was weird, because one day when I went to go check the analytics, I knew this was wrong. One of my Madden videos suddenly spiked up and I saw like 500 likes. And I completely shut it down and came back an hour later and it was down to 2. And I was like, okay, that's normal. So I have seen some visual images on, I think I was actually on my phone when I saw that. So that might just have been an app thing. But yeah, I have seen some weird stuff. So I don't know if that 297 was people actually subscribing, if it just counted lower, because the next day it shot right back up to 298, guys. Let's talk about the to-do list. Now, these are things I plan to do. We've already eliminated one. First, finish the Twitch channel visuals. The visuals are not fully done. The Twitch channel, there's a lot of stuff hidden, but it is ready to go. I will be talking about when I get back to streaming in another week or two. Update old Discord roles. Again, there are Discord roles worked on. Waiting for Twitch to kind of be ready, because I do have a Twitch one, but I kind of want them to launch at the same time. So those will most likely disappear at about the same time. Test old series with 10 episodes to judge if series will continue or potentially be ended. The first one I want to focus on is Madden. You're going to be seeing a lot of Madden. I will sprinkle Yu-Gi-Oh! There will be Pack-A-Day. There will be Sealed Only. There will be other stuff and the release of some new Yu-Gi-Oh! Series that has nothing to do with the other two Yu-Gi-Oh! Sealed Onlys. But yeah, all series will be tested except the new Yu-Gi-Oh! Ones and the current Sealed Onlys with 10 episodes, and I'm going to judge the views, the analytics, see if they bring in subscribers, if they should continue, or like I said, potentially be ended. Release the first episode of the newest Yu-Gi-Oh! Sealed Only series early. I want to see if people are watching this. I may just release it at some point, but this is something that I plan to work on, and I hope that when launched, you guys can enjoy. Now, obviously, you see me. The next thing I want to talk about is what you can expect from this week. And I'm not going to have a visual up in the corner or anything because, simply put, what I expect this week, obviously, Sunday, is this Tag Weekly. You're watching it. If you are right now, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, road to 500. But what do I expect from this week? Well, a lot of Madden. Every day I'm going to make sure there is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Pack-A-Day short, but a lot of Madden, to be honest. I have the Yu-Gi-Oh! Sealed Only Challenge Edition episode 25 almost done. We had issues with the Duelist Nexus to get a match finished, so I need to wait another day to record. And then there's the outro and possible virtual pack stuff and all that stuff. That third match I still need to get done because we need 3 matches. But otherwise, it is nearly done. I don't think it'll be done by tomorrow, but it could be at the time of recording. I'm not too sure. I'm waiting for him to get back to me, Friendly Duelist. Outside of that, there will be a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Sealed Only-esque series. But don't worry, it's not the replacement for either of the 2 Yu-Gi-Oh! Sealed Onlys, and it is not the one I'm asking about, the sneak peek, which is almost done as well. And I'm thinking, I might just get all those done and maybe surprise you guys. So this week, what should you expect? Yu-Gi-Oh! Sealed Only Challenge Edition, Yu-Gi-Oh! Sealed Only Brand New Series, maybe the sneak peek at the Yu-Gi-Oh! Sealed Only series that's supposed to replace the DBC, and a lot of Madden because that is the first series under the 10 episode branch of being tested. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. And if you guys want to ask me anything, you want to know anything, or you have any questions or comments about anything I said today, put them down in the comments down below, guys. Check out Discord because it's been worked on and there's still more stuff to come. Check out my Twitch. I'll be streaming over there. Also, will be streaming on this channel. It'll be kind of a dual stream. And all my other socials, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, tag out. A special thank you to all my Patreon supporters, Urza. And if you're interested in supporting the channel, wanting to see content early, or just to make me re-record this because I'd have to add another name to the list, check out Patreon and link description below.